football division of Wilson Sporting Goods. Obviously, Kevin, this is a labor of love of yours. You brought the factory on the road to. What was the impetus for the NFL to have you bring this here?
Well, they've never done it before, and the draft is such a great tradition that when they decided to do this pop-up store and have a great fan experience, one of the first things they thought of was asking us to bring the football factory here. It's made in America. No better place to show people, our factory in action in the game of football. I think it's a good reminder for people that this is a homegrown game.
And not only that, what was most impressive to myself and to David was the fact that this is still generally by hand made operation. There's, even though it's a factory process, there are no machines. All the machines that are involved, there are no automated machines. All the machines that are involved are only semi-automated. It still takes a human touch and a human hand to guide the operation. That's what impresses us the most.
Exactly, and we hear that a lot. And I think it's amazing. It's second nature for us, but most people are extremely surprised to hear that. But I think the average person would say, "Hey, football's a football. What's the difference?" And now you know that
right.
There's only one factory where the people do this every day.
And this is 71 years. You've been doing it since 1941.
Yeah, exactly.
And
two people who make NFL game balls.
I see. Yeah, I noticed that. And they're such nice people.
Yeah.
It's like you would think that a high pressure job like that, they would be like your neighborhood postal carrier. They'd be curmudgeons and
Not so much, yeah. And the great part is it's just such a unique job and it's such a cool situation that actually the person in waiting, if one of these two people retires, the person in waiting has been with the company 27 years. So
wow,
it's kind of funny,
And that
you wait
person's
that long
in the
for the top
bullpen.
spot, yeah.
And that person's in the bullpen.
So,
they're not even a starter.
But the good news is they'll know what they're doing. Yeah, they'll know what they're doing once they get in.
So they've understudied for a long time.
Now,
I need to ask you, when you came into this job and you were shown this process, did anything occur to you that you could make it easier or better or faster or simpler, or did you just say, this is a good thing, why not? You don't fix what's not broken?
Well, when you're young and cocky, you think you were hired to fix something.
Oh, absolutely.
But then you realize you were hired to not screw it up. So you always have those thoughts. And of course, we're a competitive company, and we're always looking at new technologies and innovations on the ball. But so we'll do our due diligence all the time, but we haven't found a better way to make a game ball than the way we do it now.
Now, I heard the number was quoted as 780 balls per team per season. When was that number established, and how long has it been that many balls? It hasn't always been that many balls, has it?
No, it's built up over the years as the league has grown and our relationship has grown. That number's built up over the years. So, but it's been leveled out at that number for quite a while.
Now, we asked the ladies what was the strangest request you ever had to put on the ball, and I heard something about the rock and roll horn, so you have to describe that.
I don't know that story. You know that story?
Someone was just asked to
I didn't
in Indianapolis. Someone asked them to do that on the ball, and Mark, because he's so savvy with the computer, instead of saying no, I don't have the logo, or whatever, he went and looked for it, got it, figured it out, manipulated the software, and put it on.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. We probably had some more interesting requests too.
I'm sure there have been some requests from
Yeah.
Well, I would think maybe you'd get one because Lombardi ran on Broadway for so long. You'd get one with Lombardi's image on it, to give to the author and the producer.
We've actually done some balls for them. We made some vintage balls for the play, actually.
Okay.
And we do that. We get requests like that quite often, where we'll actually make up old vintage balls, and we'll take. They use some material on the laces, and they'll stain them to make them look older and worn. It's a pretty cool process.
Now you don't get requests like from groups like the Hall of Fame to do specialized balls for the displays and
sometimes, yeah. Or sometimes what we get a lot of is requests to repair old balls that have been sitting there a long time and the air's going out of them. Not necessarily Hall of Fame, because they just let them stay in whatever state they're in. But we get a lot of collectors who will ask us, hey, Mike Dick assigned this ball, but it lost air. Can you put a new bladder in it for us? And we'll do that. We'll cover it up and be really careful with it, take the laces off, put a new bladder in it for them so they can.
Now, do you get requests from retired players that have the Super Bowl ball that was given to them? Like, for example, Phil Simms' ball from Super Bowl 21 or Joe Namath's ball from Super Bowl 3, and they come to you and say, gee, I really like this preserved a little better?
Yeah, every once in a while we do get that. We have good relationships with a lot of retired players, so we do that. And there's also a lot of players that are very charitable who will work with, like say, Tom Brady or Eli or Peyton. When they win the Super Bowl, they like to give balls to charity, and they'll work with us. They'll sign some for us for our charities, and we'll give them a certain amount of balls.
And what are your charities?
Breast Cancer Research Foundation is our number one charity.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's good. We have, because I'm a veteran, we do Wounded Warriors, and because I'm an ex-coach, we do Special Olympics also. So those are two that are important.
Yeah. Well, NFL has they're going to do a military honor game this year.
Yes.
And I just sent samples of the game ball for that to the league office this week. So
So can you break a secret that we got a camouflage pattern coming?
Yes, camouflage ribbon.
Outstanding.
So it's very cool. It's beautiful.
That might be an issue if somebody throws the ball.
You
I
have
lost
a couple
him
of
3
questions,
times.
David? You have a couple of questions.
Well, basically, I mean, like I asked this question before, Wilson, the ball that's made in America. I mean, how is it feeling knowing that, there is so much that's being outsourced that Wilson is still able to keep everything here?
It's a great feeling. We love it. And, our partnership with the NFL, it's what they want too. So we work together to make sure that this tradition goes forward. We're a long-term partner. We'll be with them a long time. Everybody at our factory our office, our corporate offices is devoted to preserving and protecting what we have there. And the people at the factory, you just met them.
Yeah.
Kind of a no-brainer. Easy
Right.
to keep. They do a great job, and nobody can do what they do.
And that it's made in Middle America. It's a game that started in Middle America, and it still has a connection to Middle America.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Now, are there any contracts that Wilson has, not just with the NFL, but maybe certain corporations that might want to get a delivery of balls sent, maybe with an Apple logo or maybe IBM? What companies have come to Wilson and said we could use this for our company?
Oh, we get that a lot. There's a lot of, we call it premium, where if, say for example, a sponsor of the NFL, like Pepsi or whoever, might want to do a promotion where we can put their logo on an NFL game ball. The guys from New Era did a cool thing this week. They gave away, I think, prizes for a couple, I think 2 or 4 people to come to the draft the weekend.
Right.
And the cool thing for us was they asked us to make up an NFL game ball, and then on the third panel below the brand panel, we put the New Era logo all the way across it so they could get signatures and things like that. So
That's cool.
It's very cool. So we work well with all the partners. And then in addition to that, we have contracts with state associations, NCAA football, American Youth Football is going to stop and see me tonight.
I was going to ask you about that because we see that the Play 60 balls are only 3/4 size for youth.
Yep.
Okay, and I know those are blue, the leather is pink and blue, and you have the logos on them. Is that an extra separate process?
That's a separate program. Actually, that's a synthetic leather ball. It's not really leather. But it's a separate program that the league has, and as part of our agreement with them, we supply a significant quantity of balls for youth programs, inner city training type leagues, things like that. The Play 60 program just to keep them more active. So it's thousands and thousands of balls that we supply them for that effort. That's all part of our arrangement with the league.
And you're also doing something with the College Football Hall of Fame also for the National Football Foundation, where I think you're doing a ball for everybody that gets inducted.
I believe so. Actually,
Signature ball.
Yeah,
I know those guys.
you're very in tune because I got the email on that this week. So
That's because I just saw Phil today.
okay, all right.
We covered it.
And what does the market look like internationally for Wilson? Even though football and primarily is an American sport, even though you have the Canadian Football League, how does Wilson market internationally, and who orders a lot of balls specifically for sport-related events internationally?
Well, for American football, you hit it on the head. The second largest market is Canada. The third largest market is Latin America, and so in the American continent, basically that's about 97% of the business. The rest of the business around the globe is either event oriented or, say, like for example in Japan, there's 2 leagues. We have both of them.
Oh, wow.
We do agreements with both of them, and we supply all their balls. So it's kind of fun. You get 2 orders and you got 100% market share in Japan.
What about like Arena, IFL, stuff like that?
Arena right now is supplied by another company, but we're actually, I probably shouldn't. I don't know if I should say this.
You want me to plug it? I'll plug it.
Well, let's put it this way, but they may soon be back in Wilson football.
Okay, it's beautiful.
There's
Understand.
fairly good chance of that. So,
Now with 8 Canadian teams, do they still get the same amount of balls per team as they get here in the States?
yes. Oh, I'm sorry. No. They don't get the number that the NFL teams get.
Okay.
But they get a certain amount, and it's a separate deal. And yeah, the difference there, I don't know if you've seen that ball, it's a full stripe.
Yes.
Right.
And I noticed, because he mentioned, for example, Apple, Bill Campbell was one of the Apple board members, is a former football coach right here in New York City, he worked for Columbia many years ago. Obviously, if Bill Campbell wanted NFL balls with the Apple logo on, that's not hard for you to make an Apple cutout.
It'd be easy for me to make as long as Apple had a license with the National Football League to put that on. I would gladly
Well,
do
if
it.
Steve was still alive, I'm sure he'd have no
I-
problem with that license.
I'm sure that the phone calls would flow really quickly, and that would probably have happened.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is a valuable mark. So
Now-
we need to be careful. We aren't allowed to just put anybody's corporate mark on it.
Right. Now,
We
how
have to
long
work.
have you been in this position?
I think it's 6 years now.
This is 6 years for you?
5 years? I don't know. I've lost track.
5 years.
5
You've been
years.
in the football.
I've been in
side.
the football division for almost 15 years.
Okay. What is your most significant good memory so far in 15 years in the division?
My best memories are of the Super Bowl. Actually, there was a good memory from yesterday. I was standing here with one of the guys from the NFL. We were watching. There was a father and son going through the whole process, and we were having a great conversation about how, however many years from now, those two are going to remember, standing there together, making that game ball, seeing that whole process, father and son together, watching that game ball being made. It was very cool, and that's the stuff I remember. That, and on a more personal level, I remember being at my first Super Bowl when I'm a Packer fan when they beat the Patriots.
Okay.
So that was a great moment. Too.
That is good.
But things like that are more important, and they're better for the longevity of the game and the whole.
Did you being
story.
a Packer fan drive you into the business, or?
I just good fortune drove me into the business. It's funny because you still have to know how to do business even though it's a sport. It's
Right.
a lot of fun. Right. So I've been here 24 years now, and started out in customer service and worked my way through several positions in the company and got to be on the football side, which is fantastic. It's probably, in my mind, it's the best position to have.
And did you ever have anything funny happen to you on the phones in customer service? It has to be something that made you.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Let me take a moment. I'm
Okay.
there have been several things. Probably a couple I can't talk about. Yeah, that thing wasn't running.
I can shut it off.
Yeah, shut it off 1 second. I mean, but that's. Yeah, there was one store I remember. My customer service. My first job was to sell shoes, and